Hello, my friends. Welcome back to English Unlocked. I'm Peter, and today we're diving into one of the biggest secrets to mastering English fluency: how to stop translating in your head and start thinking naturally in English. Have you ever felt stuck trying to form a sentence because your brain keeps switching between your native language and English? You're not alone. In this lesson, I'll show you 3 powerful techniques that helped my students break free from translation mode, including one method that you can practice anywhere, anytime. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to train your brain to think in English without effort. So, are you ready to unlock your English fluency and sound more natural than ever? Stay until the end. And if you enjoy learning with me, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video so you don't miss any of our new lessons and real-life English tips. Hello, my friends. This is Peter. Welcome back to English Unlocked. Today, I want to talk about something very important: how to stop translating in your head when you speak English. I have been learning English for more than 10 years. And believe me, I know how it feels. In the beginning, I always thought in my own language first. Then I tried to change the words into English. It was slow. It was hard. And sometimes I forgot what I wanted to say. Have you ever felt like that too? One day, I was in a coffee shop, trying to talk with a tourist. He smiled and asked me, "How are you?" And I froze. My brain started to translate every single word before I spoke. In that moment, I realized I was not really speaking English. I was only translating. And that made me sad and tired. So I decided to change the way I learn. I started to listen more and translate less. I used simple English words to describe what I saw around me. For example, I looked at the sky and said, "The sky is blue." I saw my coffee and said, "My coffee is hot." Little by little, my brain started to think in English, not my first language. And that was amazing. Thinking in English is not about being perfect. It's about being free to say what's in your heart without fear. And in the next part, I will show you how you can train your brain to do the same every day. Trust me, if I could do it, you can too. After that moment in the coffee shop, I started to think, why do I always translate in my head? I found out that my brain was afraid to make mistakes. It wanted every sentence to be perfect before I spoke. But that made me slow and nervous. So I decided to change my way of learning. I told myself, "Peter, don't worry about grammar too much. Just speak. Just try." At first, it was scary. Sometimes I said the wrong words and people laughed a little. But guess what? It was okay. They still understood me. And that gave me more confidence. I began to listen to English every day. Short videos, songs, and easy podcasts. When I listened, I did not try to translate. I just focused on the sounds, the rhythm, and the feeling of the words. It was like my ears were training, not my dictionary. Slowly, I started to understand more without thinking too much. That made me very happy. Then I started to use English in small ways. When I cooked, I said to myself, "I cut the onion." When I went out, I said, "I take the bus." Simple, small sentences, but they helped my brain to think in English, step by step. Learning a language is not about being fast. It is about being patient and brave. And when you start to trust yourself, your English grows naturally. In the next part, I will share some easy tricks that helped me stop translating and start speaking with real confidence. After I started to use English in small ways every day, I found something very interesting. My brain began to feel more comfortable with English. It was like a baby learning to talk, slow, simple, but real. And that made me smile. One big thing that helped me was listening and repeating. I chose short English videos or podcasts. I listened to one sentence, paused, and said it again, just like the speaker. Sometimes I did this 10 times for one sentence. It felt funny, but it worked. My mouth started to move faster, and my brain stopped thinking in my old language. Another trick I used was to think in pictures, not words. For example, when I heard the word apple, I didn't think of the word in my language. I saw the red apple in my mind. This made my English faster and more natural. I also talked to myself in English. Yes, I really did. When I woke up, I said, "Good morning, Peter." When I felt tired, I said, "I need to rest." Talking to myself helped me use English every day without fear. It felt like I was building a new friend inside my head, an English-speaking friend. The best part? I started to enjoy English more. It was not just a school subject anymore. It became a part of my life. In the next part, I'll tell you how I learned to think faster in English, even when I was nervous or afraid to speak. When I started to enjoy English more, I wanted to think faster when speaking. But sometimes my brain still stopped. I knew the words, but they came too slowly. I felt stuck again, and that was so frustrating. So I tried something new. I began to think in short English phrases, not full sentences. For example, instead of thinking, "I am going to drink some water now," I just thought, "Drink water?" Short and simple. And suddenly, my brain worked faster. I also started to play small games with myself. When I looked around, I said what I saw: blue chair, small dog, happy baby. It was easy and fun. This helped my brain connect English words directly with real things, not with my old language. Another thing that helped was shadowing, listening and speaking at the same time. At first, it was hard. I couldn't keep up. But I kept trying, and after a few weeks, my mouth and ears started to work together. That made me feel proud, like, wow, I'm really thinking in English now. One more tip: don't try to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. Even native speakers make mistakes too. The goal is to keep moving, not to stop and think about every word. Little by little, I began to speak faster and feel more natural. And the best part? I could finally enjoy real conversations without fear. After I started to speak faster and feel more natural, I wanted to make English part of my real life. I didn't want to study only from books anymore. I wanted to live with English every day. So I began to use English in small daily moments. When I watched movies, I chose English subtitles. At first, I didn't understand everything, but I tried to catch simple words. When I heard something new, I repeated it out loud. Sometimes I even talked to the TV. It felt funny, but it really helped me remember the sounds and words. I also changed my phone and social media into English. Every time I opened my phone, I saw new words again and again. It was like English became my world, not just a school subject. Another thing I did was listen to people in real life, at work, online, or in videos. I didn't try to understand every word. I just focused on the main idea, the feeling. Step by step, I began to understand more and more. That made me feel so happy and proud. And you know what? English started to feel natural. I didn't need to think too much. It was just part of me, like breathing. Learning English in real life made me stronger and more confident. It showed me that English is not just something you study, it's something you live. In the next part, I'll tell you how I built real confidence to speak with other people, even when I was shy or afraid to make mistakes. When English became part of my daily life, I started to feel more comfortable. But speaking with real people was still hard for me. I felt shy. I was afraid to make mistakes or sound funny. Maybe you feel the same too. At first, I stayed quiet in conversations. I listened, smiled, and said only a few words like yes, no, or okay. But deep inside, I wanted to speak more. So one day I told myself, Peter, stop waiting. Just try. And I did. My first real conversation was short, but I felt so proud after it. To build my confidence, I started small. I practiced with friends who also wanted to learn English. We talked about simple things, food, hobbies, music, and daily life. We made mistakes, laughed, and learned together. It was fun, not scary. I also talked with myself in front of a mirror. I looked at my face, smiled, and said, "Good job, Peter." It sounds silly, I know, but it helped me feel brave. Later, I joined online groups and spoke with people from other countries. Sometimes I used the wrong words, but people were kind. They listened and helped me. That made me believe it's okay to be imperfect. Step by step, my fear went away. I started to enjoy talking in English. It wasn't about being perfect anymore. It was about connection. After I became more confident speaking, a new problem appeared. Sometimes I lost motivation. There were days when I didn't want to study at all. I felt tired and thought, maybe I will never speak English well. Have you ever felt like that too? At that time, I realized learning English is not a short race. It's a long journey. And on this journey, it's normal to feel slow or bored sometimes. So, I started to find small ways to keep myself excited. First, I made my learning fun. I watched English movies I liked, listened to music, and even played games in English. When learning feels fun, it doesn't feel like study anymore. It feels like life. Then I set small goals. For example, today I will learn 5 new words. Or, this week I will watch 1 short English video. Each time I finished a goal, I felt proud. Those small wins gave me more energy to keep going. I also wrote my progress in a notebook. When I felt tired, I looked back and saw how far I had come. That made me think, wow, I'm really growing. It gave me hope again. And of course, I talked with other learners. We shared our struggles, but also our victories. It felt good to know I wasn't alone. Learning English takes time, but every small step counts. The key is not to stop, just keep moving forward. After I learned how to keep my motivation, something amazing started to happen. English began to feel natural. I didn't need to translate anymore. Words just came to me like water flowing. It felt so free. I remember one day I was talking with a foreign friend. We spoke for almost 1 hour, and after that, I realized I didn't translate even once. I laughed so hard because it felt like magic. But it wasn't magic. It was practice, patience, and love for the language. At that time, I started to understand that fluency is not about knowing every word. It's about being able to express yourself clearly. Even with simple words, you can say anything if you feel confident. To make my English stronger, I kept doing things I loved. Listening, speaking, reading, and thinking in English. Every day, even just 10 minutes. It became a habit, like brushing my teeth. I also noticed that English started to change my way of thinking. I became more open, more curious about the world. It was like learning English also helped me learn about people and life. When you can think and speak in English freely, it feels like you unlock a new part of yourself. And trust me, that feeling is beautiful. When English started to feel natural to me, my life slowly began to change. It was not just about speaking another language, it was about opening new doors. English gave me new chances, new friends, and new dreams. I remember my first job interview in English. I was so nervous. My hands were shaking, and my heart was beating fast. But I told myself, Peter, you can do this. Just speak simply and clearly. And I did. I didn't speak perfectly, but I spoke with confidence. And guess what? I got the job. That day, I realized English could really change my life. Later, I met people from different countries. We talked about music, food, and culture. Even though our English was not perfect, we understood each other. It felt so good, like the world became smaller and kinder. English also helped me travel. I could ask for directions, order food, and make new friends. Every trip felt easier and more exciting. I wasn't afraid anymore. The best part was this. English made me believe in myself. It showed me that with time, practice, and heart, I could do anything. And that's a lesson I will never forget. After all these years, when I look back at my English journey, I feel so thankful. It was not always easy. Sometimes I wanted to give up. Sometimes I felt tired and slow. But every small step, every mistake, every moment, it was all worth it. English changed my life. It gave me new friends, new jobs, and new ideas about the world. But more than that, it gave me confidence. It taught me that I can learn anything if I keep going. If you are learning English now, please remember this. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't try to be perfect. Just try to be better than yesterday. Even one new word today is progress. Think in English, speak in English, live with English. Make it part of your daily life, not just something you study. And one day, you will wake up and realize you can think and speak in English without even trying. That moment will come if you don't stop. I believe in you just like I believed in myself. Keep learning, keep smiling, and keep speaking, even if it's hard. Because every word you say brings you one step closer to fluency. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps you on your own journey. And if you want more simple and real English lessons like this, remember to subscribe, like, and share, so we can keep learning and growing together.